Hi everyone and welcome back again on IELTS Speaking, your all-time IELTS speaking partner. And today we are back with another video, and that's an important thing. So it's the time to drop IELTS speaking cue card for September to December 2020. So that's the end of the session, May to August, and now here are the new cue cards. So let's have a look. And before proceeding, make sure to subscribe this channel IELTS Speaking. We teach IELTS online, and we also share the latest IELTS and immigration updates time to time. As soon as possible we get them, so press the bell icon, get notifications as well, and click on this IELTS Speaking. You will be redirected to our another channels, IELTS Listening, IELTS Reading, and IELTS Writing, and just subscribe them all. It's completely 100% free, and enjoy the complete IELTS course 100% free to get the latest IELTS Listening, Reading, Writing practice tests, tips, and all that complete IELTS stuff. So what you guys are waiting for? Hit the subscribe button now. Let's get started. So here is the list of the new cue cards, and make sure to do not skip this video at any point, because we are going to share ideas of every single cue card as well. So don't skip this video at any point. I will share I can say the cue card and some ideas, not samples, some ideas which you can use on that cue card. So without wasting time, let's get started. Here comes the first cue card, and that is, have a look on your screen. Describe a program or an app on your computer or mobile. What the program or app is, or application, when, where you found it, how you use it, and how you feel about it. So talk about any program or an application. Suppose you use Instagram, Twitter, or any kind of application, and you have to talk about that. You can talk about Twitter, because that is very helpful. That give you latest news every I can say every latest news first of all on Twitter, or any you can talk about any communication or messenger which you want to talk about. What the program is, when and where you found that, and how you use it, and how you feel about it. Your feelings about that, your thoughts about that. Next is, describe a long car journey you went on. So talk about any long car journey you went. In the cues you should say where you went, the place where you went, what you did at that place, that what activities you did at that place, who you went there with, and explain why you went on that journey by car. So with whom you went on that place, and explain why you went on that journey by car, because you have to talk about a long car journey, because journeys are on train as well, on plane as well, but why you choose car for that journey, so you can talk about that. In next, for third, you would say, describe a time when you helped someone. In the cues you should say whom you helped and why you helped this person, what the result was, and explain how you felt about helping this person. So you have to talk about any person whom you helped, and you could say, I like that, to whom you helped and why you helped that person, and what was the result of your help, and explain how you felt about this person. You can talk about you helped anyone in learning, you taught someone in board exam in difficult subjects, so what are the result, that person passed with flying colors. You can use these kind of vocabulary for a higher band score, and explain how you felt about helping this person. So how you felt, of course you will feel happy when he or she passed with flying colors, or when the result was positive, which you was expecting, which was your expectations of that help. So next one is, describe an experience when you played an indoor game with others, indoor game like chess, carom, whatever. So in the cues you should say what you played, which game you played, who you played with, why you played, and how you felt about it. So you can talk about any game, you can talk about chess, you can talk about carom, with whom you played with your brother, sister, cousin, any relative came to your home, you played that time. Why you played, you can talk about that your relative, you can see your relatives came at home, and you were in a mood to do some fun, and you started playing games, and how you felt about it, that you enjoyed a lot with your relatives, you played game with them after so long. These kind of ideas you can talk about. In fifth, you should say, describe an occasion when you lost something but got it back. In the cues, you should say what you lost, how you lost it, where you found it, and how you felt about that experience. So you lost something and you got back. So you lost your iPhone 12 Pro. 12 Pro is not there. I was joking. You lost your iPhone 11 Pro Max, and how you got that back? You went to Chandigarh in the rock garden, and you lost your iPhone 11 Pro Max. And there is an option, find my iPhone. And with the help of that, I found my iPhone, and I felt really about my finding experience, because that phone was gifted to me by some of your known, or some an international relative gifted you that. So you lost that phone, and when you lost that, you have very bad feelings. You have a fear that you will be being scolded by your parents, your guardians, and you were, I can say, you was very nervous that you lost your expensive phone, but you found it with that application Find My iPhone. So you felt that very good that in this techno savvy world, these kind of applications are really helpful. So these kind of ideas, I would say, are really much better to get higher band scores. Most affected polluted city. You can talk about most affected polluted city, where you have visited that city, when it was, why it was polluted, and how. I will not take any city name. You can talk about that, which city was that, when it was, when you went there, why it was polluted, that is, what kind of pollution was there, and how it was polluted. Next is describe a foreign country you want to know more about. In the queues, you should say which country it is or what culture, where it is, how you know about it, and why you want to know more about this country. You can talk about any historical, any country which have something much better and good thing, pretty much awesome things to say, to see. So pretty much everything you could ask for in that meeting. I hope some one person has got this. In eighth, I would say it's describe a person in the news that you want to meet. Any person you want to meet that Aaj Tak, can say journalist, you want to meet anyone, any celebrity who you can say why he or she is, who he or she is, why he was on TV, or you've seen anyone on TV, like an interview as well. How do you know about this person and why you want to meet him? Next is a journey you made by public transport. In the queues, you should say when and where you went, the place you went, what kind of transport you used, how was your transport, I can say transport, explain, and how was your trip and explain, sorry, and why you choose to use public transport for this trip. Earlier there was a q that why you choose the car, so here why you choose public transport for this trip. Next is describe a dance performance you recently watched. You watched dance in a dance performance, you watched a dance performance in Americans Got Talent. Anything you can talk about, you should say where you were, when it was, who you were with, and explain why you were excited for that. Next is describe a family member you spend the most time with. In the cues, you should say who this person is, what kind of person they are, what you usually do together, and explain why you spend the most of time with them. Next is describe an interesting animal you know about. You should say what animal it is, show what animal it is, and what you know about this animal and where they are found, and describe what fact about this animal do you find most interesting. Next is have you ever felt that time you have wasted, and that you have ever felt that you have wasted your time, what you did, why you felt it was waste of time. There are pretty much ideas, I would say. Next one is describe an outdoor sport that we haven't done yet and would like to do in this future. That's a very common cue card. It's in backlist from so long. I know so a lot of know its answer as well. Like you should say what it is, when and where you would do it, what preparations and equipment you would need. Some you can talk about bungee jumping, very common. River rafting is the most common, I can say, outdoor sport which we want to try. Moving on to the next is describe a leisure activity you do with your family. In the cues, you should say when it is, when you do it, how you do it, and explain how you feel about it. Next is describe a time when you first met someone. Who was it? Where did you meet? When was it? And how was your experience? Next is describe a quiet place. You should say where it is, when you like to go there, what you do there, and why you like to visit there. Next one is describe a comic actor who is popular in your country. You can talk about any. You should say who is he or she, what type of person he or she is, how you come to know about him, how, and explain why she is popular. Next one is describe a new building, new public building you would like to visit. You should say where it is, what it is like, what you know about it. Next is describe something useful you borrowed from someone else. You should say what it was, when you borrowed it, and why you borrowed it from it, and explain why you borrowed it. You can talk about any notebook, any notes, any special book, or any toy, any game, any video game, something like that you can talk about. Moving further, talk about something you enjoy doing in a group. That's a good. You should say what was it, with whom you did it, when you did it, and how you felt about it. Moving further, describe a time when you got lost. When you got lost, pretty much. It's good. You should say when and where it happened, who was there with you, how you felt, and when you got lost, and explain how you eventually found your way. You can talk about you visited to any school tour at any place like in Jaipur, and you in the evening you went to visit a museum or any park or something by riverside, because a place which is in which it is easy to lost. So you I can say you just seen something and you just went to watch that, and you lost from some of your friend. They just went away and you was not aware about that location as well. So you lost that, and you do not have any kind of mobile phone. But to talk about it, how you found your way, I would say you can talk about mobile phone. But that thing could be if you were alone and you lost at some place, then you can tell about the use of Google Maps or any locations, or you can contact any of your friend. And if you were with your friend, then you can also use a live location feature. These kind of techno savvy, this kind of, I can say, techy ideas you can also generate for these kind of cue cards. Next to one is describe a person who taught you something important. In the cues, you should say who the person is, what he or she is like, what he or she taught you, and how you felt about him or her. Describe a film that made you think a lot, what the film was about, when and where you watch it, whether you like or dislike it. So you can talk about Sushant Singh's film. I would say that's an idea if you want to talk about that made you think a lot. Is there a because I haven't seen that, I would say, but I don't know. You can talk about any kind of movie that which made you think about something. So what the film was, when and where you watch it, and whether you like it or dislike it. So next one is describe a city you want to visit. You should say where it is it, why do you want to visit it. You can say I want to visit Bombay. That's a good, because that is a city. I can that's the biggest city, which is, I can say, everyone's wish to visit in India. Or you can talk about any city of any other country, like you want to visit Los Angeles, because that I want to visit. So these kind of cities you can talk about, but I would say you can talk about in your country only. That is your wish, no worries, you can talk about any. Describe an old person you know and respect. You should say how who he or she is, how do you know this person, and what he or she is like, and explain why you respect him or her. You can talk about that you daily went to any you daily go for evening walk, and you just sit in park for some time, and there you met an old, or I would say old person daily, and you respect them a lot, and you know them that he's just from another, so I can say another house or any another colony, but now from so long you know this, you know that person. So you have so you now you are knowing that person. These kind of things you can talk about. You respect them, and you daily met them, and you know them. Next is describe a risk you have taken which had a positive result. Powered by Mountain Dew. In the cues, you should say what it was, why you took it, what the result was, how did you felt about it. So you can give an idea of that ad, that you took a risk, that you just jumped, that you just took a risk of that taking Mountain Dew, and you just jumped that mountain and on with a motorbike, and you reached to another mountain. That's totally not fair. I was just kidding about the way that you didn't get bored in this long cue card list. You can talk about anything that in which you had taken a risk, but that has a positive result. You invested your money in something, something, any kind of things you would say. Next is describe a place that can be good to relax except home, because of course home is good to relax. You can talk about where this place is, what it is like, what you can do there, and explain why you think it is a good place to relax. You can talk about any park, any garden, any cool place. Next is describe a person you are happy to know. By that, describe a person you are happy to know. Next one is describe a foreign country or culture you want to know more about, or describe a foreign country's culture you want to know about. You should say which country is it, or what culture, where it is, how you know about it, and why you want to know more about it. Next is 32nd is describe a mistake you once made in your life. Next in the cues, you should say what mistake it was, how you made this mistake, when it was, and explain how it affected you. Next one, describe a friend who could be a good leader. In the cues, you should say who is he or she, how you met him or her, do people behave differently, when he or she is around, and it's the combined. Do people behave differently when he or she is around? And explain why you think he or she can be a good leader. Next one is describe a large company that you are interested in. In the cues, you should say which company is it, what it is like, what kind of business it does, and how you know about it, and how you feel about it, and what you have interest in this company. Next is describe a time you wore a type of clothes for a special occasion. You should say where you bought the clothes and what other people at that occasion thought of your clothes. You can talk about any friend's birthday, any marriage function and reception, or any kind of party. Next is describe a dinner you enjoyed with your friends. In the cues, you should say when and where you had the dinner, what you had, who you went with, and explain why you enjoyed the dinners. You can talk about any time, any. You can talk about your college farewell time. All friends went for dinner, or any birthday party, any celebrations. You can talk about. Next is describe a place full of color. That's one. You should say where is it, how you know about it, when you went there, and what you did there. Explain why you think it is colorful. You can talk about any rose garden or any kind of garden in which there are different color flowers, and that has you could already have a sample as which everyone know because that is added again in this upcoming list. Next one is why. When was the first time you admired the sky or a beautiful sky you enjoyed seeing? You should say currently I'm seeing the sky. You should say what were you doing? Who was with you? What you saw. In the next, you should say describe a time you meet your friend by chance. You went to a shopping mall and your friend went to shopping mall. You met them by chance. Usually in these kind of places, we a friend usually meet by chance. Next one is describe something you bought recently and you were happy with it. In the cues, you should say what it was, why you bought it, how do you use it, and explain your feelings after the purchase. So, you bought any kind of iPad. You would say you had a dream to buy an Apple iPad and bought that. Why you bought it? Because you need that. You want that for your college work because the students have that Apple iPads for their study work. I would say how do you use it, and there is an Apple Pencil with that iPad as well. Which you purchase differently. So you can say that you use that Apple Pencil and you make your notes on that, and you use also social sites. You use social applications on that, and you attend your online lectures on that iPad. So you can talk about these things and explain your feelings about the purchase. So of course that products are really much good. So pretty much everything you could ask for in an iPad is there. So I would say so that is you can talk about the experience that is much powerful, and that gives me a perfect experience to do my college work, school work, or anything you can talk about. Next is describe a conflict you had with one of your colleagues. What was the situation and how did you solve conflict? So, conflict with colleagues. You can talk about any misunderstandings, or you were planning for any function but some have other ideas, and you want to go by other side, but there was a conflict in this case. In this case, in colleagues, you can talk about and how did you solve that conflict. I would say usually friends sit together and we solve the complete matter, and then we again handshake and all that stuff you can talk about. And the last one is did you ever help your friend? Who was he? Who was he? What kind of help you did and how you felt about this is something again repeated like the another QQ that is different, but that is same that if you helped your friend in that QQ it was like you helped someone, but here you have to talk about that you helped your friend, but you can give the same ideas that you helped your friend in their board exams and all that kind of stuff. That what kind of help you did you taught them and what he felt about it. Of course you taught them. That's a very much good. So of course he will felt pretty much good. So that is the complete list for Q cards September to December 2020. So make sure to subscribe because it's Q card. It's a time for part 1 and part 3 introductory and follow-up questions to drop. So we will drop them very soon. Make sure to subscribe, press the bell icon. Any queries comment down now and subscribe all channels and enjoy complete IELTS course 100% free, and also subscribe to enjoy the latest IELTS and immigration updates as soon as we get that official updates. Press the bell icon, get notification. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Peace.